Alright, I think we are live. Hey guys, thanks for joining and watching today. We'll be doing some more T6 Dark Abyss into Cerberus. I think this is a little bit, well, I think this is good to run again. I tried the Firestorms 2 days ago in the Ikatursa, almost lost it. I had 2 seconds on the clock when I exited the Abyss, so I switched to Gamma and the Gila. After that one, but yeah, for today, we're gonna be running the Cerberus again and have some fun in the T6 Abyss. Looking to take you through and talk through the spawns. Obviously, T6 has the most of the NPCs, but obviously each of the spawns and each of the tiers are very similar. It's just more basically as you go up, right? For everything. Anyway, let's dive in and see what the Abyss is going to give us and bring us, right? We'll be doing some giveaways as well again today. A couple of skins and some ISK giveaways. So yeah, I suggest you join once those go up, basically. And let me take the boosters. I'm using a Synth Crash and Blue Pill. With the fit I have, that is sufficient enough. So let's switch over to Rage because we've got the Deep Watchers, right? Oh, we've got the Deep Watchers to take down. And we want to do as much DPS as possible. Come on, drones. Do your best. Avoid with them wrapping. 9 mil. Well, there you go. Welcome to the Abyss, right? Sometimes you're lucky and sometimes you aren't. We'll be probably live for about, I would say, approximately 2 hours or something like that. So I'll probably do 2 or 3 giveaways in that time after a couple of runs. And obviously, if you've got any questions, do let me know. I'm happy to talk you through either tier 6 darks, but obviously I know my way around the other ones as well. But I haven't been doing electricals or exotics in ages. So I just took my drones back in because of the suppressors, right? I think there's a small one around. Yeah, short range. So those hurt my drones quite a bit because I just have a couple of small drones. And it does help to use those if you can on the Deep Watchers, right? Just to take down the spawn a little bit quicker. But yeah, feel free to participate and ask questions, right? Happy to answer where I can. Let me just put my fit into the chat, by the way. There we go. So that's my fit. Obviously, you can do these T6 Darks with a slightly lesser fit. Mine is obviously pretty expensive. I would not suggest you do the same thing when you start with T6 Abyss. You can definitely pimp it as you go in because it will help, but I wouldn't spend the crazy amount of ISK that I've spent so far on the ship, right? That's definitely for later on. Once you get a little bit familiar, because I think at the end you're always going to make a stupid mistake. Let's put it that way. You are somewhere along the line. You are gonna. I'm gonna reduce the music a little bit, by the way. But you're gonna lose the ship at a certain moment in time. You wanna make sure that when you lose it, it's you've made your ISK already back, basically at least, and some good profit as well. And when you just start with the Abyss, as probably most of you know, if you've run a couple of them, right? You're gonna make somewhere down the line a stupid mistake and lose the ship. Especially in the beginning, right? So don't pimp it out too much. Is my advice as you get into these, right? And so it's going pretty good at the moment. We still got quite a bit of time on the clock, and we're on the last one. So this spawn should usually take about, I would say, a couple of minutes. Right, sorry about that. Had to mute for a little bit, but I'm back now. So yeah, this should be usually about the 5-minute mark, right? It depends if you can use your drones or not. So although the 3 light drones don't do a massive amount of damage, it's still like 50 DPS more, right? And obviously that adds up over time. So if you can, always put the drones out, but be careful about the speed clouds. Those are the ones that will make your drones go crazy in the dark sides. Alright, just a frick left, and then we'll hop over to the next room. Drones are back in. Can actually stop the erupting NVMe. Let's move back to Navy Scorch and go into the next room. So yeah, we're well, actually on the 5-minute mark, right? So it's pretty sweet for the Deep Watcher spawn. Alrighty, we got the Lucids. So for the Lucids, I would suggest going for the Warden first because they web. And then depends on how, or depending on how you get your cap is, right? You can either go for the Sentinels and Firewatchers or for the Upholders. Upholders also web. I usually like to fly around in the room just to get all the notes, right? So I usually go for the Upholders and Wardens first, and then make my way through the looting frigs and cruisers. But again, it depends on your cap battery, right? If you've got a good cap battery, then I would suggest going through the webbers first. Pretty easy. Alright, let's take down the note. Hey Tesla Forcer, good morning. At least good morning for me. Not sure what time zone you're in, but welcome again. I hope you are doing well. Let's make our way to the cache. As you can see, the Firewatchers, you know, they draw a little bit of cap, right? But it's not severe or anything. The Sentinels will do a little bit more, obviously, when they get in range. But it takes a while for the Sentinels to get in range. They're not very fast. So you should be good taking down the webbing stuff first before you go through the lootings. Alright, good to hear, Tesla. I guess good to read, Tesla. So let me just put the giveaway text, by the way, up. Feel free to participate. There you go. I'll probably raffle either after the second or third run, depending on how many folks are participating. Because obviously, I'd like to make sure that we at least get a handful of people right at the moment to participate and join the rebels. And otherwise, we'll hold on a little bit longer for more folks to join in. But yeah, feel free to put exclamation mark rebel into the chat to join. Oh, this is actually not a bad can. 138 mil. So in the previous room we had, what was it? Almost 10 mil, which wasn't too much, but this can definitely made up for that, right? So once the webbing and the looting drones are down, it's just a matter of going through the rest of the spawns. They don't do a significant amount of damage. So this spawn is, except for, it could be time consuming depending on the spawn. But yeah, the DPS wise, it's pretty good. Well, we're in the blood cloud. That should help us a little bit. Alright, hey, let's see. Yesterday was hysterical laughing at my courtmates. They were doing the quest abyss. What is the quest abysses? I have no idea. Is that new bro stuff or were they doing the to get on the what was it? The mosaic, right? That they're gonna show at FunFest or something like that. Guess it is the quest. Yeah, I think it's for the mosaic, right? So you get your picture on that one. So were they doing just the tier 1 abyss stuff, Tesla Force, or were they doing the other ones, the higher tier? Auxiliary shield hamster. Very interesting fit, I guess. Well, there are many fits that you can run it, right? No web, no, yeah, no web, no application, right? Yeah, you wanna, depending on obviously which abyss you do, right? But yeah, if it's for the darks, you wanna get at least one web on your ship. Obviously, ideal would be more, but yeah, that's gonna be difficult, right? T1. Oh, there you go. Ah, right. Okay. Okay. Well, they will. Well, yeah, because that's all going to be small stuff majority of the times, right? So for tier one, you actually probably want to go for rapid lights, I guess, right? Let's see. Let's reload faction ammo and hop over to the last room. We're doing very well on time. 10 minutes left, so whatever they bring, we will be able to take it down on time. I almost died to a frigate. Yeah, that would be funny, right? You gotta, I guess, even in tier 1, you want to do a little bit of research, right? What you're getting yourself into. So this is actually the same spawn as we just had, right? So the Warden's the Lucid spawn. So we'll make our way. We've got the speed cloud, so we're definitely gonna hit that cache very quickly now. Or the node. Which node am I going to? This one. There we go. So again, it's taking down the webbing and then the nuding. Obviously, I selected the Watchman, which wouldn't suggest you primary in any way, but it's what I had selected. And it's a reasonably simple spawn, right? They do have a lot of wrapping, so the preservers do the remote wrapping. So you gotta watch for that potentially, depending on how well you apply DPS. If you have a max skilled character like I have, you're gonna be in good shape. You can just go through any wrapping they might bring, and for frigs anyway, the wrapping is very low, let's put it that way, so you should be good. So the thing I like about the darks is that you can scoot quite fast, right? So 1200 meters a second or 1.2k is very quick, so you're able to get to all the nodes pretty quickly. And most of the time get all of them, right? It depends on the spawn. Obviously the deep water spawn you need to be close by because of the 45 kilometer range. So that's, I think, one of the few spawns that you won't be able to get all of the nodes, basically, simply because of the range, and you want to keep applying DPS. And the Angel spawn is obviously the other one. The Angel spawn is the toughest spawn you can encounter in the T6 Dark. So, and I think in any of the dark side, right, it's the toughest spawn. Even I think in the lower tiers, because usually you're gonna be in a ship that can easily be drained of cap or not tank the DPS. But yeah, T6 Darks, the Angel spawn is definitely the one that still keeps me on my toes from all the spawns that you can get. Alright, let's get to the other one and just clean up the room. Yeah, I can imagine you were crying of laughter, right? Yeah. If you would have a Cerberus die to a PV frigate in the Abyss, yeah, that's not going to be, that's not a good show for your corp, let's put it that way. That would be a funny NPC kill mail, right? If it gets uploaded automatically. So yeah, at the moment it's just cleaning up the room. I usually leave the preservers to the end if I can, right? Obviously depending on the remote reps, but for my runs I usually keep them to the last ones to take down, because they will stop moving once you take down all the NPCs that do DPS. And obviously if they stop moving, it means I will apply 100% to them. The only thing you need to worry about is that they stay in range, right? Or you stay in range of them. So you can always keep an eye out where they are, because obviously now I'm going to the cache, right, which is 60 kilometers away. As you can imagine, my range is not 60 kilometers anymore after the patch that dropped a couple of months ago, right? So they're still doing top speed at the moment, right? But they should be dropping their speed very soon. Actually keep moving this time, interesting. Usually they drop off speed to 0, right? Not sure why. Oh, there's no DPS right anymore. So I'm not sure why they would continue moving. Or do something different than what I would usually see. It doesn't matter. I like that they're following me actually, because then I can just keep moving towards the cache. Interesting, they keep moving, right? Anyway, you know, from a time perspective, it's gonna be a 50-minute run, which is what you want, right? I always target around 50 minutes, or at least that's what my expectation is when I get into the T6 Darks with this setup. 50 minutes is my target time frame. But it all depends on the spawns, right? There's a couple of spawns that take a little bit more time. For example, the drag effect spawn, so that will make sure that I do a little bit, or take on. It will take a little bit more time to complete the run, basically. But I've never run out of time in the T6 Darks at the moment. 80 mil, there we go. So this is a pretty good run, right? Let's move out, let's reload. We can stop this one. So did we end what? Oh, this was a very good run, right? So 255 mil for the first run. So that's pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty good run. Especially, I wasn't expecting much after the first one, right? The first room gave me 10 mil or something around that mark, so I was like, that's not good. But the other two rooms definitely make up for it with the nodes and the caches. So if it's the first time joining, right, thanks for watching. I usually run the filaments back to back, 4 of them, depending on how much loot is in the cargo, right? But definitely 3, and most of the times I could do 4 runs back to back. To make sure I use the most out of my boosters, right? Obviously, it's only synth boosters, so they're cheap, right? But it's just a personal, I guess, target that I'd like to run 4 darks before they finish, or the cycle time finishes, basically. Just to keep myself. I guess I run the best times when I give myself a target. Alrighty, so we've got the drifters. The null charges do the nuding, right? The null chargers. So I always take those down first, and the entanglement do the webbing. So after the null charges, you would go for the webbing ones. They go down pretty quick with rage. You definitely want to use rage in this spawn, because it could be a very lengthy spawn if you use the faction ammo. So always switch over to the rage. Because I think the hit is just over, yeah, it's just over 1.1k a hit, right? Depending if it's armor or shield or even structure, right? Oh, there we go. We had a wrecking shot, right? So that the wrecking shot of the, it's actually good that we got this one on video, I guess, right? For a change. So the wrecking shot will take you into, will take all of your shield. Let's put it that way, especially if you're on repping like I was, which is not what I would advise you to do. Always keep this spawn repping because of that wrecking shot. But you just witnessed, I guess, what happens if you don't continue repping in this spawn, because the Cerberus Tyrannus, the wrecking shot will take all of your shields. And obviously if there's still more rats on in the room, they will take you slightly into armor, right? But obviously because of the repping, you get it back very quickly, right? And the chance of getting 2 wrecking shots before you get to full shields, which takes like, what is it, 15 seconds, something like that, is very, very slim. But yeah, that would be bad. Still, I think you would survive 2 wrecking shots, but you would go into structure, right? Yeah, so the synth crash is indeed for the application, right? You get 6% radius, explosion radius, right? So it's all about the applied damage. You can run without it, but it just speeds it up so much, I would say, right? On the average Frake spawn, that is worth taking, right? And it's not that expensive, I think. You can have a look in a minute what it costs, but I don't think it's very expensive. Go. Let's see, what did they charge for? So it's 3 mil, and the blue pill is 2 mil. So let's say you take 5 mil of boosters for an hour to complete 4 of these rooms, right? Which usually average between 400 and I guess 600 mil clean, right? Taking out the filament costs. Although the filaments have gone up obviously for dark, so that's not very good. But yeah, so the drifters, you know, you take down the nudes, take down the webs, and it's just then Cerberus is the only thing left. So the only thing you need to be careful, take into account, I guess, is the range, because it's not the fastest battleship around. And depending on the, so it's minus 70 to optimal range, so it will get very close. So if I stay still, basically, right, it will come to me quite quickly. Just gonna take the cash now, then I'll continue applying to the battleship. 52 mil, not too bad. And do let me know if the audio for the music is too loud versus voice. I've tried to improve my settings every stream I have, right? So do let me know if the music is either too soft, my voice is too loud. I'm happy to adjust as I get back into the streaming. And previously I never streamed with voice, right? I always streamed with the music, like for example Manfred Gustav does, right? And many others, I guess, they don't do the mic stuff. But I wanted to educate folks as I go through these spawns, and obviously you can see what's happening, but if you have somebody talk you through the spawns and what to prioritize, it just makes things easier to understand what's going on, right? Let's move to the gate. Could have already done that, but need to call in the drones anyway. So again, it's another spawn. So in the other abysses, usually it takes a little bit longer. For example, firestorms or gammas, right? But in Dorex, because of no additional shield or armor, it's a spawn that you can take down in approximately 5 minutes. We got another one, but now with the Ephialtes. So what we'll do, we'll start moving towards the node. We will. It's not too many dissipators, so we'll first go for the entanglers, which web, and then we'll go for the dissipators, which will nuke you. Ephialtes, you can keep your. Just looking at speed cloud. For Ephialtes, you're gonna keep your faction ammo loaded, and you're gonna use the web as much as you can. Because compared to the drifters, these have a far smaller signature radius, so your applied damage is lower. So always try to web them. They stay pretty close, especially with the minus 70, right? So you should always be able to web them and kill them before they get out of range, right? Of your web. The confusers are always good to take down as well because they limit your range, although there's only one, so it shouldn't impact too much. But still, I go from 54 to 46 kilometer range, so always good to keep an eye on them. And there are spawns where there are like 6 or 7 of them, right? And then you might want to prioritize them slightly earlier, depending on the range that they're at from a starting position when you get into the room. As you can see, the cap is holding quite well, right? So it's only the last dissipator, so after this one, it's gonna be good. For sure. Alrighty, let's lock up the other ones. Get the loot from the node, 7 mil, and make our way down to the cache. And if you scoot around like this, usually you're gonna be in a good shape from a range perspective out of the battleship, right? Yeah, what do I have range at the moment? It's 45 kilometers. 54 kilometers on the faction ammo, and 45 on the rage. It has to do with the implants, right? And I think the bonus the ship has as well. Compared to the Munin, right? I know a lot of people after the hack changes, the Munin can run up to, I think, tier 4. But I wouldn't suggest doing tier 6 in the Munin from a range perspective. Because I think the max range you're going to get is 20 something, I think. Yeah, the Hydras, yep. And obviously you will need the different implant set for the Munin, right? Just to be able to keep going, basically. But yeah, you're going to lose out of the range. That's why I'm not a big fan of the Munin, at least for tier 6. I think up to tier 6 you're going to be in a good shape. But I would not suggest running or trying tier 6. The Cerberus is simply a better alternative. Although I think the clone and ship for the Munin is going to be cheaper, right? So if you're a little bit more strapped for cash, let's see if I can get my drones out just to help down taking the battleship. Ready? So although this is the Ephialta spawn with Cerberus Tyrannus, it's still going to take around 5 minutes if you use the faction ammo on the Ephialtas and then switch over to Rage for the battleship. I've got a little bit of cold, so or either it's a cold or allergy. So if you hear me sniffing or something, it's all about that stuff. Spring is in the air here. It's a sunny day, so obviously the allergies are picking up. So apologies for that stuff, or the voice in some cases. There's probably a suppressor. Why is this drone all the way over there? Drones are sometimes they are weird little things, right? They don't always listen to what you want. I'm gonna pull them back in because you know, it's almost down. The shield is the biggest thing for Cerberus, right? So once that's down, I'm good to move to the new room very quickly, or the next room very quickly. I usually, before I go into the next room, I stop the booster, the AB, and switch over to the faction ammo, and then I'll take the jump. Yeah, you saw a flower. Yeah, it's drones, and that's what I sometimes hate about the Gila and the Gamma side, right? Is that your drones don't listen or do weird stuff. It's like, what, you know? CCP should fix that. Alrighty, so we got a trick spawn. This is actually one of the easier ones because there's no remote repping. If you see the one with the Villa Swarmer drones, obviously you can ignore those completely, but there isn't a lot of remote repping going on. So you can take down the frigs first for whatever you want to prioritize, right? Webbing, disrupting, all that good stuff, right? And then you can do take down the Vetmax. You don't need to prioritize the Vetmax in this spawn. Hey Ribbit, good day to you too. Thanks for coming back and watching again. Appreciate it. Yep. We've got the first raffle participant, so if you want to join the raffle, right? May have a chance for a skin and some ISK, so just put ! raffle in there, and you're gonna be on the list to have a chance for skin and some ISK, right? I've got if you're joining for the first time, I've got a can or a container with a lot of skins in there. There's 200 plus skins in there. There's some good ones in there. There's some cheap ones in there. So you might get lucky. You might not. We'll leave it up to the wheel, the wheel of fortune, I guess, right? To get you which, I guess, decide on which skin you're gonna get, right? Yeah, that's one. It's the only thing, you know. Well, I guess for in T6 Darks you can completely ignore them because they might go for your drones if you have those out. But other than that, they can just completely. They don't do a lot of damage, right? This is a very simple or easy spawn in the dark sides. 1 mil, not really worth it, but we'll take it. Yeah, you can just just take them down, make your way around the room, get the nodes and caches, and gonna be in a good shape. I think the only, well, no, I think this one is pretty quick, right? It does depend on the combination you get, but usually it's pretty quick. I think the other thing, usually I switch over to Rage for the Vetmax. If you only have one Vetmax, I'll stick with the faction ammo, but if you get two, I don't know exactly from a time perspective if it makes 100% sense, but I usually switch over to Rage because you apply so much better with Rage on Vetmax. Final frag, then we just have the Vetmax to go. usually I make use of the reload, right? So I'm gonna be needing to reload soon anyway, so I might as well switch over to range. And that's why I usually prioritize the frigs first to get the clip done, and then when it's near time to reload anyway, you might as well switch over to rage. But only saves like whatever 10 seconds, right? From that perspective, I guess. In the abyss, any second can be the last second that you'll have, right? So 42 mil in the last one. So now I can make my way to the gate. I'll take the drones back in. They don't do too much damage anyway. Yeah, so any second counts, right? Oh, why are they not coming back on? I learned it again the hard way yesterday when I was doing the T6 firestorms in the Ikatursa. No, it wasn't yesterday, it was on Saturday. If you watch that recording, that VOD from Saturday, I think it's around the 47-minute mark. You will see me escaping with just seconds on the clock. And that was a very expensive ship. It's very comparable from a value perspective to the Cerberus. So I think it's got high-grade Asclepians right on it, and then a couple of other expensive implants just to help out with the tracking and application for the gun. Because obviously for trick guns there isn't too much that can really help from that perspective. Let's switch over to faction ammo and get ready for the next one. So we are on around the 30-minute mark, so that's pretty good, right? Obviously when I'm streaming, I might be a little bit slower in each of the rooms, right? Because I'm talking as well. Sometimes make a weird mistake. But yeah, if you look at the VOD from yesterday, you'll see how it is to nearly lose about a 12-13 billion ship in the abyss. Let's see, this is the closest, so we'll go for that one. We go, so they need to get into range. There's only one starving dem effect, which so not going to be too worried about it. There is only one ghosting, so range shouldn't be too bad. There is this spawn where there's a lot of ghostings, and obviously your range drops to like 30 kilometers, so you want to keep an eye on that one. But yeah, the Kikimora spawn isn't too hard in T6 Dark, because they need to come close, right? It depends again on the weather effect. This is minus 50, so they've got a little bit more range. But you can see as I'm traveling to the node, right, they are not applying or spooling up yet. So as long as you keep moving initially, you'll take a handful down before they actually start applying most of the times. And you apply very well to destroyer-sized ships because of the Hydra, so you take them down pretty quick because you apply very well. 7.5 mil, there you go. The other one is probably on top somewhere. Oh, there we go. So we're going to go up now. Do some manual piloting. But it also means that by now they are going to get slowly into range, right? They're still going to ball up for the most part. So they might lose spool, but you can see the range. They are getting very close now. And by now they're all applying. But as you can see, I've taken down a good few already. So DPS wise, especially as they're spooling up, it's going to be good. It's not going to harm my shield too much. And here you go. So they've already lost their spool again because of the speed I'm doing and because they stay in their own little ball basically. So this is one of the good spawns to get basically. You apply well, they don't do a lot of damage, you can roam around the room pretty well and still do a good time. It depends on the room that you're gonna get, if you're gonna get or go for all the nodes, right? So I've got one at 107 kilometers at the moment. I'm not gonna go for it, it's just too far away, and I might actually not, obviously, as you know, the nodes can only contain well, they can contain up to, or starting I guess 500k, right? And if you travel 100 kilometers, you're only gonna get 500k from it. It's like, why did I make that travel time? It's just not worth it. So for this one, I'm just gonna head over to the cache and take that one. Alright, I will switch over to the Rodivas. The Rodivas obviously do the remote repping. Because you apply very well to the Kikimuras, you can take them down, even though they might get, you know, a couple of cycles of remote repping in. But frigs can be a little bit tougher, right? Because you apply a lot less to frigate size ships. So usually what I want to do is take the Rodivas down before I switch over to the frigs. Go. So now we're only 66 away. It's not too bad, but still I'm not gonna bother about it, right? The other two nodes already gave, I think one was 7 and one was 11 or something like that. So the chance that this one will contain something valuable is already slimmer, right? Because the other ones gave some good value already. Because obviously CCP is not going to fill every node with 11, 12, 15 mil of loot. Which mainly consists of the Triglavian surveys, right? Those are the ones that make up the majority of the value. Alright, so we should again be done within the 5-minute mark. It seems that that's what CCP is aiming for, that you're able to complete most of the rooms, depending obviously on your ship within that 5-minute mark, right? Or at least that seems to be the fastest possible way for most of the spawns. Unless you get one of the even easier ones, right? But the more tougher spawns around the 5-minute mark is always what you're going to be spending on the room, basically. Just the anchoring, and then we are good to move out to the next one. If you're just tuning in, feel free to join the raffle, !raffle, to make chance on a skin and ISK. I learned yesterday from another streamer on the icons above here. If you click them, it actually hides that information, so you can use the full screen. Don't need to overlay, I guess, something there to hide where the system is that you're in. So I like that one. It keeps the UI a little bit cleaner, right? Alrighty, we are good to move out to the next room. Just over, well, I guess 5.5 minutes. Not too bad. Let's stop and save a little bit of cap as we enter the next room. We got the Drekavax one. So this will take a little bit of time. I leave the Drek still the last ones to take down. But they, I don't know. There's something with their signature radius that obviously you want to switch first of all to rage, right? That's because they are at the end battle cruisers, but still you don't apply greatly to them. So we got to speak loud. So if you have the ability to leave them to the last reds to take down and are able to get in webbing range while staying within the gate and the cache, basically, I guess, it will help greatly if you web them. You'll do a lot more damage if you web them. But they do always stay together, right? They don't go out their own ways like the frigs. Now it's only 5 at the moment, which isn't too bad. There are spawns where there's a lot more of them. So this room, there's not too many nodes, so I should be able to get in range quite easy and apply. So it should be probably just over 5 minutes to complete this room. Come on, move to the node. I should be locking up more stuff. There you go. 9 mil onto the cache. Hey, Drunken EB, thanks for following. Appreciate that very much. Yeah. Feel free to join the raffle, !raffle, to have a chance on a skin and some iskies. There you go. Yep. I've started streaming again since probably like 6 months again last week, so I'm trying to build up my audience again. So definitely appreciate you tuning in and listening to me rambling and watching me do the T6 of this. I just got a Jackdaw as a gift, so flying around. Yeah, the Jackdaw is it is a fun ship, right? I haven't done a lot with command destroyers, because you can switch obviously to, I don't know, the speed mode, navigation mode, and damage mode, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, they sound like good, good, I guess, command destroyers, and obviously you can duel them in the T6 Darks, right? You can duel with two Jackdaws. You can duel most of the spawns, I think, in T6 Dark. And depending on your fit, you can either do all of them or weapon. Or you always, I think, die on the Angel spawn, right? If you get one of the cheaper setups. But yeah, Jackdaws. It's a fun ship. Seems to be the one more versatile, definitely for PvE, right? Yeah, I can imagine that you're enjoying it. It is a fun ship. I'm actually training that skill to level 5 on my main, because I want to start using it. If you're new, I'm quite an old Eve player. I've been around since just after the beta, so around 2004 is when I started playing. Obviously, a couple of years, and then dropping off a couple of years, but somehow Eve always draws me back in. So I took a break for about 3 years, I think, and I got back like a year and a half ago, probably 2 years, but now I don't know exactly. But yeah, so my character is, and I kept my character's training, right? So skill points wise, I'm doing very good, and I'm using the Abyss to pay for the subscription, so it doesn't cost me anything, which is always good. And you can prepay, right? If you take the there's a lot of offers, I guess, on Plex. So if you wait for the right offer where you get like the 48% discount on a year subscription or something like that, right? Or 2 years? No, I think it's a year's the max, right? So probably you get 52% discount, I think, on the year. There was at least one offer a while ago, so if you do that, it's not very expensive to keep your character going for a year, if you have the ISK, right? Obviously, if you're a newer player, you wouldn't have the amount of ISK to spend on it. But if you're an older player, you should have your way to make enough ISK to pay for your subscription. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, there was an offer till the 28th, right? Yeah, and there was one, I think, when I was getting back, or shortly, a year ago as well. And I like those offers, right? They are very interesting if you've got in-game ISK to spend on your subscription. It's definitely worthwhile waiting for the 3 month, 6 month, 1 year subscription type thing. Yeah, and I think it was 20% off. But if you went for the 6 month or the year subscription, you definitely got off a lot more, right? I think it was definitely 48%. I think something like that. That was pretty crazy. And that's what I did, right? I was like, I'll take you up on that one. Because when I got back, I was space rich. I got my ISK, right? So I was like, I'll spend it on instead of ships and blowing those up, I'll spend it on my subscription and get that going. This is quite a bright room. I'm trying to figure out what is the best way to attack it. Got the speed cloud, so that should help with damage mitigation. And it's worthwhile going for the battleships first, right? You want to get in range, obviously, of the battleships, but it should be good. So usually I take the battleships down, then I need neuters and webbers, and then we'll go for the rest, right? Because they are already pretty damaged before you actually get into the room. Oh, there you go. That was quite a hit. You can just stick with your faction ammo. There's no necessarily shooting as well. There's no real need to switch over to the rage ammo, because first of all, you want to keep a little bit of range for the Unicom battleships, and you apply, still decent anyway, right? So, and because they're pre-damaged, I guess, you can get away with it quite easily. So let's go for the note. Come on, move here. So the cruisers you can apply rage to. quite well. Even better than the drifter spawn, the Silas, right? So always switch to, if they are in range, switch to rage ammo in this room for cruisers. And obviously, if you already switched because there were a lot of battleships, right? Might as well do that. Why is it not opening up? Okay. 13 mil. So again, the other one is pretty far out, so I'm gonna ignore that one. I'm gonna go for the cruisers. I'm gonna switch over to rage. I want to stay in range. Obviously, there's the cloud, right? So, but actually not too far, so I should be good. But there you go. This is already out of range now, right? So I gotta wait till that enforcer hits the cloud, and then it will come back, come close very quickly. Another tip: don't use your drones in the speed clouds. They go crazy. So especially near the edge of the bubble, because you will lose them quite easily. So, hey, Mr. Redundant, thanks for following. I appreciate you watching the stream, and feel free to participate in the revel by putting down !revel. Alrighty, so this was the third room, I think. So we should be able to just slow boat towards the gate. So it's the third run. We're up to 524, so it's not too bad. But take into account the filament cost, right? So the filament cost I've been paying them lately about 35 mil. So it's at 115 mil you should take out of already this, right? So approximately 45 minutes or 400 mil, right? And I think that's so I know a lot of people are saying 300 mil an hour for T6 Abyss. I think that's on the low side, right? Unless you sell to all the buy orders, everything to buy orders, right? Which isn't a smart thing to do, but you could, obviously. But that would definitely be on the lowest end possible. You would need to get 4 rooms, I guess, below 1 mil, right? To actually get that. But on average, I'm seeing around the 500 mil mark for an hour, so half a bill an hour. And obviously it depends as well if you, like others, dock up and repair, I guess, ship and reload ship. I've got a setup that I'm pretty good at. I've got enough ammo to last me 4 runs, basically. The only thing I need to keep an eye on is the cargo space, right? To make sure I can get everything, I guess, for the runs that I do. But yeah, I can do 4 back-to-back runs in an hour, so it's pretty clean cut. I still have, well, I guess 30 minutes left till my boosters expire, so I might not get it till the end. But yeah, it's the Abyss gives you, if you run them like this, can be very, very profitable, right? For a solo activity in Eve. I know there are better ways if you've got multiple characters, but for a solo activity, close to HiSec, reasonably close to Cheetah, I guess, to sell stuff. It's one of the easier ones to do, right? I think Wormhole could be another one, right? But I'm not too familiar with wormholes. And obviously, I think with all the filaments, it's easier now to move stuff around, I think, right? And get to Jeddah from different places, which is good, I think. Because there needs to be a fair relation, I guess, between all PvE activities around making money, right? But yeah, I think Abyss is very, for my single character, it's a very easy one to make money, or I guess is, right? Now, there's actually a couple of Webbers here, so I'll take those down. I focused a little bit more on the nuding side, but yeah, I'm gonna go for the Tanglers next. Because I want to get this one all the way 100 kilometers out, basically. So yeah, I think it depends on the drops, but between 400 and 600 mil is what you can do an hour. And obviously it depends if you then travel to Jeddah, right? And the time it will take you to travel from wherever you are to Jeddah, it will be less, right? But I usually collect till I got like a blockade runner full of loot, which is approximately around between the the 7 and 10 bill, and then I take the blocker 8 runner down to Cheetah and sell the stuff. The survey data you don't want to sell in Cheetah. I'm not sure if it's pronounced correctly, but Villain. It's like 3 jumps from Cheetah as a Concord station system. I always take my survey data there. The thing to keep in mind, because you can sell, I guess, the survey data and the tier boxes that you get from Reds as well, right? I don't know exactly what I can't remember the name because I haven't gotten those in ages, right? But there's the loot that you can sell there as well at any Concord station that you get the max price for. Well, yeah, the only thing you want to keep an eye on when you travel to that system 3 jumps from Cheetah is that there is gankers on station. So make sure you've got insta docks like you have potentially or hopefully for Cheetah. Get those for that station as well. The gates are always good, but they are usually on the station with a couple of tornadoes, at least 1, and a praxis to boost, I think. So yeah, don't just warp to the station because you will lose your blockade runner or whatever you travel there. Senescence, right, for dropping off the loot. And they have been quite successful with ganking there. So I think they do every 2 or 3 ganks that they do, they make a few bill because people just walk to the station and get ganked, right? So you want to be careful if you drop off your loot there. But yeah, insta-ducks, right? Both for Cheetah and the other station that you want to drop off loot. And obviously doing tier 6 Abyss, you don't want to be too close to Cheetah in a 0.5 system because there will be gankers. Okay, so I'm making my way to the cache and cleaning up. Just reloading. Pick the room, it's not too bad. But yeah, time wise, should be around the 5-minute mark again. There's no speed cloud, so I'll use the drones to get the cache while I'll keep applying to the frigates. Go, drones back in. 24 mil, not too great. Never complain. But I think that's another way to really measure, I guess, the ISK hour from the Abyss is, you need to look at like 10 runs, right? Because you can have 4 runs in a row and not get too great of a loot, and then suddenly have 2 runs that, make you a ton of ISK. So if you average it out around, 10, 15 runs, you're gonna get an idea of how much ISK hour you will be doing. Slightly less than 4 or 5 minutes, but definitely good, right? If you never spent more than 6 minutes in each of the rooms, you're gonna be golden. Yeah, those blueprints, right? I've actually just been scrapping them, right? Reload. Go to the next one because they're not worth anything, and you're not worth putting on contracts as well. I rambled a little bit in my last stream on that topic as well. I think CCP should change it, either reduce the drop rate and improve the stats for them, or just get rid of them, right? It's that, except for 1 or 2 blueprint types, it's just not worth it. It's just plunking up space and server space, right, for them as well. So why would you have something in the game that's not worth anything? Nobody's using it, and just holding it or scrapping it, right? It just doesn't make sense. So for this one, this is going to be still a tough one, as in the spark lenses do EM damage, and obviously that's the resistance that the Cerberus is the weakest against. So it can be quite tough if you're sitting around. If you're moving, it should be alright, but I've had in a slightly different spawn where there were only spark lancers. I had a tough time tanking it, and I had to use the ADC actually to stay safe. So this sounds like a very simple one, but or it looks like a simple one. But keep an eye on which drones you're gonna engage, right? Or which drones are in the spawn. Spark lancers are the ones that do the most damage to you. A little bit of manual piloting to to the next node. Yeah, let's look up the spark lancers. Oh. There we did this. So yeah, for this room, it is the usual stuff. Webbing first, snarecasters, then the fogcasters because they limit your range and application, and then you go for whatever's left in the room. But if you get a lot of spark lancers, and it is one of those rooms that they start off very close to you, it's definitely worth taking a couple of spare spark lancers down first before you focus on the other stuff, because they do quite a bit of damage altogether. Yeah, the entropics, right? The entropic blueprint. Those are I think the ones that are best at the moment. I think because they changed the remote rep module, right? It doesn't drop anymore. You only get the blueprint, and the blueprint, I think, at the moment you spend more on the minerals to build it than you will actually gain or get from it. So I guess in Pokfin, there's better ways of getting that module or the blueprint sorted. Yeah, it's definitely this stuff. I just drop a can and leave them out there if they're not worth anything. And I noticed as well, if you try to get rid of them in your station, it only can't remember the term how to get rid of them, right? But if you scrap them, it only does like 10, 15 of them, even though you've got like 100 selected. So you have to do that multiple times. So that's why I've been using the can mechanism and just drop them in a can. And if somebody wants to pick it up, feel free. But I'm not going to bother with those blueprints. So for this one, because I had a little bit of time to spare, I did go all the way down to the node, which was 100 plus kilometers away, right? Because I should be good. It does depend, right? So I've got a couple of minutes left on the boosters, the boosters. So I think the only other thing, 2 mil, so it was not really worth the travel, but hey, could have been more. So for the boosters, I think the only reason why I would, I guess run them again or consume them again is if I get the angel spawn, right? Other than that, I'll probably just leave it, dock up my ship, get it, drop off the loot, get new ammo in, and get out there again. And then before I start my new cycle of 4 runs, pop the boosters, right? That's why you always want to keep a couple of spare boosters with you as well. And the reason why, so I've got the blue pill and crash, right? But I also have the hard shell with me. I don't pop this very often, but only for certain angel spawns, because you might want to just get the additional shield boost, right? Especially when you get a lot of the cruiser angels. Any repping you can do will help. Yeah, I've tried it as well. I invented a couple of, I think, Ikatersas, right? That might actually be worth it. G2M, yeah, it might be. I've never played around with it, but is that worth it then, Tesla Forcer? If you invent, is that, I guess, worthwhile the effort you put in and what you get out of it, right? Or at least is that better than just doing nothing with them? Or I haven't really gone, because I think you need some stuff, right, to do the invention, or at least increase, I guess, the chance for success. So again, we've got a couple of battleships. They are out of range. Well, this one isn't, so I'll take this one first. There is a speed cloud. But yeah, you want to take that battleships down first in this spawn. I'm gonna have a look. This is probably a webbing. Webbing NPC. I'm just checking the. Let's stop there. I'll go for the drainer because it makes you a cap. I am pretty close to them, so it is taking quite a bunch of cap probably. Shouldn't be too significant because the cycle time of the battleship looting it's a lot, but it's a low cycle time, right? So by now I should be in a good shape to travel towards the nodes. I'm not being webbed yet, so that's good. I'll just web that one. Give it a little bit of distance so it doesn't web me. Hey Squirrel, thanks for following. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, you need the data course, right? And the chip, yeah, for the stats, exactly. And as mentioned, I did do it a little bit, but I don't know. It's not my biggest interest, I guess. But yeah, that might be it, right? But again, I guess at the end, you can still get the PPCs if you even get them out of the contracts, right? For just a mil or even less for some, right? But yeah, it could be worthwhile, right? Especially if you're more into that stuff, I guess. Then. So the Edicom spawn is a very quick room again because the battleships are pre-damaged. They apply very well to the cruiser-sized ships with rage, and obviously the frigs with friction ammo. So yeah, that's why I'm not worried about the boosters in this room, right? I'm just gonna finish it up, get the get the nodes, move over to the cache, and be done with it. What we'll do after this run, I'll do the giveaway. So feel free to put !raffle in chat to participate in the giveaway. You'll get a skin and some ISK. Take that out. Switch over to the Enforcer. Stormbringers have a lot of shield, right? So they will take the longest actually to take down. I think compared even to Battleship, the Stormbringer will take a little bit more time for a cruiser size for sure to take that. 3 mil. Alright, let's go to the cache. It is close by, so I can web it, so that will help as well with the application. As you can see, it goes down, right? But even with rage ammo and webbed, I'm doing not crazy amount of damage. Let me just put the fit into the window again. There you go. So that's what the fit I'm running at the moment. Right. When I jump out of the system, I'll duck up, and in the meantime, while I'll do that stuff, we'll do the raffle. So you'll have approximately, what is it, 30 seconds, something like that, even less, to join the raffle. So !raffle if you want to participate. But feel free to just lurk and watch me run these sites. 50 mil. Yeah. So I'll reload here. Jump out. It's alright, so our gain is 650 mil almost. But take account for the filament cost, right? So the filament costs are what now? 140, I guess. So you get, what is it? Let's say 500 mil for just over an hour's work. Alrighty, let's get the giveaway up. Give me 1 second. I'll try to do that. Alright, so we've got 4 participants. So last few seconds to join the giveaway if you're interested. Let's see if I've got the wheel up already as well. Seems so. So I'm just gonna duck up my ship and start the giveaway. New participants, so we'll start the animation and see who is gonna win. Here we go. Who's it gonna be? Mr. Redundant, who just started joining, I guess, for following as well. So congratulations. Alrighty, so next up is let's see which skin you're gonna win. So I need to go to the gift. That was my input. I need to do this. It's not showing the giveaway wheel for some reason. Here we go. As you can see, there's quite a bit of skins in there. There's some good ones, some lesser good ones, I guess. But yeah, let's see what you're gonna get, right? You have won the Drake Glacial Drift skin. Just gonna copy that. Alrighty, so what I need... yeah, there you go. Mr. Redundant. Alright, so you've got a Twitch name that is very similar. Let me just send it out to you. Give me 1 second. So first of all, I'm gonna send you the ISK. Mr. Redundant. Yeah, I can see you here. Give the money, 21 mil. Well, there you go. You know, by just watching me do stuff, you won 25 mil and the skin. Alrighty, so 25 mil should be now in your wallet. Just picking the skin out of the container. Drake Glacial Drift. Here we go. I'm not sure what it's worth or if it's worth anything, but at least you got the ISK anyway, right? Create contract. There you go. Make it private. Next. I'll keep it out for a week, but I think you're in game, so you should be able to accept it quite quickly. All the skins are in Jita, so I'm not giving you anything that's down in Pokfern or zero space to make it more difficult for you. Alrighty, so I'm just restocking my ship, and then we'll do another run. Now give me I guess 10 seconds to do that stuff, and then I'll be back. I can show you the client again. Got everything. Oh, let me just rep that armor damage before I leave the station again. There you go. Ah, you're close to Cheetah, right? There you go. So yeah, for the skins, right? You can sell them, you can keep them, whatever you want to do with it. It's all up to you, right? Okay. So let me switch back to the game client. I should be good. There we go. So while it's warping, I'm just gonna get a quick glass of water. I'll be back in like 15 seconds, right? Right, I am back. So let's start running a couple of dark sides again. I think we're all good. Drones, right filaments, ammo, yep. And we've got obviously the boosters, right? So we'll do another giveaway in probably after the next run or two. Or at least start it again for folks to join in. Alrighty, we got the drifters. What we will do is we will switch over to Rage. We will focus on the drifters first. The entanglers, because those will web you. Just looking what the best place is, right? So there's one node over here, but two over here. So we'll go for the two first. And then we will see how much time we got left, or if we are still going to be locked down because of the webbing. There's an upholder as well. Let's do this. Can start the repping. There's a couple of sentinels out there, but we should be good from a looting perspective. But you do want to keep an eye on the sentinels in your camp, right? So definitely if you've got a ship with less capacitor, I would suggest taking down the sentinels first. I will already lock them up just to make sure I can apply damage straight away if needed. What I will do, I will just switch out to the other way and start shooting them, because they will start slowly to drain it, right? It's not going to be great, but obviously you don't want to run out again. Let's do this. Just take down the nodes and then switch over to the sentinels. These two are pretty far, right? So that's I think the good thing about sentinels, or you don't necessarily need to worry about them too much in darks, because they are very slow. So compared to the drifters, they are way slower. So it's a lot easier to keep them at range, so they don't drain that much. Obviously, the draining that they do is based on the range they are from you. And if they're in optimal range, they will drain obviously the majority, right? Anyway, so it's actually not too far away, the other node, so we'll go for that one as well while we take down the rest of the ships. We'll probably switch over to the upholder because it's getting close and he will web me. But he doesn't web you too greatly, so if I web him, I'm going to be out of range at the end, right? But it might take a little bit to get out of range. And it might already be dead, so yeah, I've already lost his web, right? So his web is probably like 10 kilometers or something. Well, mine is obviously 16, so I'm able to keep him at distance and not get too troubled by it. 4K, thanks for following. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you and welcome. Why am I moving here? I need to go here. Not sure what happened there. I probably misclicked somewhere. But yeah, just finishing up the room now, right? Just a couple of cruisers left, so that's good. Let's go for this one. So depending on, so this spawn can be time consuming, right? It depends. This was not a big one, right? But especially when you get a lot of loose hits, it might take a little bit for you to take down this room. But the watchmen are definitely the least ones you got to worry about. All right, let's go. Cash next. And again, what I mentioned before as well, I'm going to be needing to reload anyway soon, so for the Scylla's, it makes sense to switch to Rage because you will apply a lot better then. So I will do that once the last Watchman is down. I'll switch over to Rage and take down the Scylla's. Here we go. I actually switched to my drones, right one. So I usually have the drones to either distract the angel spawn if it comes too much, right? Because it is the toughest spawn in the D6 Darks. Or just to take down the nodes and caches, right? Yeah, I actually didn't consume my drugs, right? Let's just do that. For this one, because it's all cruisers, right? It's not too big of a deal, but never forget your drugs kits. You want to do it in the T6. So first room, 73 mil. It's not too bad. All up. Back to faction ammo. Don't need to overeat that one. Alright, we actually got almost an identical spawn, right? But we didn't get the webbing Scylla's. Why am I overheating this? Switch up to Rage. Let's use the drones for the node. And we'll take down the Scylla's first. And usually I select or prioritize in this order because the Scylla's are slightly faster than the Lucids. So I'm able to apply simply quicker to them. And I apply more as well with Rage, right? So it's just worthwhile doing. Just looking for that node. Yep, let's go there. Another tip, obviously, in the Abyss is you don't want to go outside of the bubble because you'll take the abyssal depth damage. So, and in case you do get disconnected, right, try to always approach things because that at least makes sure that you stay within the bubble and don't fly out too far and take unnecessary damage, right, if you do get disconnected. The other thing is, I'm not always good at it myself, but because the ship is cap stable, right, quite well, even with some looting powers, always keep the shield booster running. Because again, if you disconnect, you'll keep repping, right? Because you don't want to lose the ship if you get disconnected. It's probably the number one way people die, I think. Well, I wouldn't say number one, but it is quite common that people get disconnected, right? Depending on your internet connection. So you want to be pretty stable with your internet connection if you run the Abyss, as you probably know, right? Lighting, so hopefully I don't bounce. Switch back to faction ammo. Alright, so it's actually on the way, so I'm gonna go for the cash first. I'll take down the looting sentinels first, then take down the upholder, and then the rest. I got that one locked. Let's lock the node as well. So, taken down with missiles. Switch over to the sentinel. As you can see, they are very slow, right? So the upholders, that's why I'm not prioritizing the upholder at the moment, because yes, he can web me, but because of the speed I'm doing, he's not catching up. 30 mil. Alright. Then let's see what the node has for us. Take it down as well. I could use my drones, right? But sometimes I'm lazy and I'll just use my missiles. Yeah. So time-wise, we're doing speed clouds. We're doing very well. So speed clouds, they're not as obviously in dark you're already very fast, right? And they can be a pain. But it's not as serious as you would run these with either the 3 frigs or the 2 destroyers, right? Because obviously those go even faster than what I do from a speed perspective. And then you can shoot out of the Abyss, right? And take that damage. But I think I've run a lot of them, right? And I think only once or twice is when I got shot out of the Abyss. But again, I was able to get back in range and inside of the bubble very, very quickly. So I'm not too worried about the speed clouds. But yeah, speed clouds, keep an eye on them, especially the red clouds as well. But they shouldn't become an issue when you're flying a cruiser most of the times. But yeah, if you're already towards the edge of the bubble, keep that into account. And I think the other thing is with your drones as well, right? If the node is near the edge of the bubble and you send your drones for that node, they will shoot out, and because they're light drones, they will die very quickly. And it's just you just don't want that, as in, you know, it's just an inconvenience, right? Ready? Let's go to the last room. We get the devoted. So these will do EM damage, which obviously will hurt. What you don't like is the lookouts here, because they will dampen your range. So I need to wait till they get into range. That's why I'm not using my AB at the moment. I've got enough time, right? So I'm just letting them get close, and then I'll take out what I can and what is close by, right? So now they're getting closer, so I'll start using the AP now. For this one is the guide is stay at range, right? Don't let them come too close until you've taken a good few of them down. You can tank it for a while, but obviously the knights also do nuding. They web and nude, and especially if you got 3 of them on you, or more, right? At the end, it will become starting to hurt you. So you want to keep an eye on that one. So where are the others? Gonna do some manual piloting just to keep them at range. They will come closer now though, but I should still be in a good shape. The priest do remote repping, the smith do nuding. There's the nuding fricks. So you want to take them down as well. Good, so I should be able to. You can see the edge now, right, of the bubble. So I'm near the edge. Might catch me, I don't know. We'll see. If they do catch you, it's immediately switch to the highest DPS targets, right? Which are the knights. So if you have no way to get out of their webbing and nuding range, as you can see, they start nuding now, right? But they're still at range, right? So they don't do too much. Barely. Alright, they're already out of range, so I can't even see how much they need. But yeah, just stay at range. Should be possible quite well. Obviously, if you've got a slower AB, you know, you're going to struggle a little bit more, right? So keep that in mind. And you might just... It is as easy as just move away from the spawn, right? In the beginning, take down as much as you can. And then get closer and go for a node or two, right? Obviously, you don't want to go for nodes if you're just starting. I always advise when you start running these, just go for the caches. Ignore the nodes unless they're like 20 kilometers away, right? But other than that, just prioritize the caches and taking down the spawns, learn the spawns before you do anything else. Because the experience you gain in the Abyss will speed things up quite significantly from when you start running them for the first few times. But now they're pretty harmless already. Let's just use the drones to take down the cache. Lock up the remaining frakes as well. Let's see where it is. It's behind. So I'll go for it because it's going to be close to the gate anyway, right? I'll do it at the moment, right? I'm leaving the drones out simply because I want to go for the node as well, but I need to take down the target because of targeting limits. 44.5. Here we go. So we'll go for the node. Send our drones there. There's no speed cloud, right? So you don't need to be worried about them getting shut out of the arena, right? Speed cloud's over there, and there's a blue cloud. It's not a. There are not many clouds in this one, which is fine by me. I don't make use of the clouds too much, in honesty, as well. I do. I think the only spawn I use the rune effects for, so I guess the clouds, is the blue cloud in the angel spawn, because you will apply quite well to the angel spawn in the blue cloud. So if there's a cloud nearby when you enter that room, go for it. If you are in a red cloud or in a speed cloud, you want to get out of that straight away when you encounter that spawn. Because obviously they're going to nuke you quite heavily, and if you're in a red cloud, you're going to consume a lot by repping. So yeah, that's a dangerous combination. A red cloud and the angel spawn is not something you want to encounter. It won't kill you if you get out of it on time, but yeah, if you stay in there long enough or can't get out, they will hurt, right? And you gotta probably pop the hard shell. You gotta put your drones out to mitigate DPS, because obviously angel spawn will then go for your drones. And that saved me initially quite a bit of time when I was learning, and especially before the boost that the Cerberus got. I used the drones a lot to mitigate damage. I would probably, well, I think I lost most of the drones in in those runs, right? Yeah, I'd rather lose, you know, what is the million drones than losing the entire ship and clone, right? Alrighty. So another run, slightly over 50 minutes, but not too bad. Gonna have a look at how much we got. 202 mil. It's not a bad run. Shame this is a decayed one, right? Wait for the trace to come down and jump straight into the next one. And while we do that, let me also open up the raffle again. Give me 1 second. Let's clear the participants. Quick to text that. Alrighty. So feel free to join the raffle, !raffle, to win a skin and 25 million. Nothing else is needed from you. Just !raffle. That's all you need to do. And obviously stick around when I draw the winner, right? Otherwise, I will redraw. Alrighty. So we got another Scylla spawn. Switching over to Rage. And obviously the battleship. So let's be smart this time and run the booster. So we'll go for the null charges first. Just to make sure I keep my cap going. Oh, another range. So not shoot them just yet. I'll lock up a couple of the entanglements, because they will obviously web me. I think this is another thing that you want to learn a little bit about, is how much can your cap sustain from a neuting power perspective. So my cap will sustain unless I get into the red cloud with 2 or 3 of these, right? So I guess prioritizing at the moment for the stream, but usually I would have just gone for the entanglements and then the null charges. But yeah, if you're just starting, you want to first prioritize the null charge. And then go for the other stuff. Yep. Hey, thanks for following, Mark8. And joining the revel. Good stuff. Alright. Go. No, just take down the entanglements, get the webber off you. It is -70, so the Cerberus Tyrannus is not gonna hit you quite well until it gets closer, right? It will shoot you, but it will miss most of the times at the moment. And it will definitely miss you if you are at full speed, right? So obviously if you're webbed down, it could hit you if it gets closer, but unless it obviously gets that wrecking shot that we had earlier, right? Taking me into a tad of armor, I guess. So you always need to be prepared for that. So that's why I say in these spawns, always keep your booster running. You're cap stable anyway. There's no reason not to do it. Let's put it that way. Just taking them down. We'll look down the cache, take the drones out for the cache, so I can keep applying DPS to the cruiser. Alright. Is there any short range? It's medium range. There's another one right here. We go. It's medium range as well. So we will use the drones as well. They will help. They're definitely not required to take down the battleship, but everything helps, right? So if there's obviously you need to keep watch their shield, I guess, but usually every second can help in the abyss, especially if you do less DPS, right? I'll put the fit again, but if you do less DPS than this, always use your drones as well to help with the damage. Until their shield is gone, right? You want to pull them in if there are suppressors out there. Alright, I'm gonna call them in. And because you don't have the added, so in the gammas, obviously, the Cerberus is a lot more shield, so it will take longer to take down. And obviously, exotics, darks, and electricals, there's no added bonus for them to either armor or shield, so it should be pretty easy to take them down, and that's why those abyssals are the easiest ones to run, right, compared to firestorms and gammas. And you can obviously see that back in the filament prices as well. especially after the boost for the Cerberus, and obviously the education, I guess that's now been available to run T6 Darks and Jackdaws or in the Hawk setup, right? The 3 Hawks. The prices have gone up quite a bit for the filament. I think when I came back to the game, I think the filament prices were around 19 mil, and now they're up to 35 mil and up, basically, right? Alright, let's do this. So again, we're on the 5-minute mark, right? So you're running these quite consistent from a timing perspective, the Scylla wave with Cerberus. Alright, we got the drag effects. We'll go for the tangling first because they will web you. There's actually no frick at the moment that is... Oh, that newts you. Because there could always be a few, right? So you want to keep an eye on which Demafix are around. So I'll go for the tangling, and then I'll go for the ghosting because they limit your range, I think. Or applied damage, right? Just one of the two. I always forget it about this one, but yeah, I just prioritize tangling first, then ghosting. And then we'll go for the strikings, and then finish off the drag effects and be done with this room. Let's have a look at the range. Yeah, so they do the range, right? So I only have 33 kilometers at the moment. So imagine if you're in a Munin, right? Trying to do this, your range is going to be what, 15 kilometers? Probably, or something like that, right? It's going to be, you got to be chasing, I guess, the targets, whereby in the Cerberus you can still roam around the room quite well, getting the notes and caches, and not worried about it too much. And I guess you can also run the T6 Dogs at Icatursa, right? I've tried that before, but I found it less relaxing. It's a little bit tougher to do, right? And I think by now the setup is probably going to be... I think the setup is probably similarly expensive, as in the ship. Obviously, I think the Hydra clone is going to be more expensive than the S-Club. So. But yeah, the Icatursa is definitely a good alternative, I would say, for the Cerberus. But the Cerberus runs them, I think, quicker most of the times, and you can get all the notes and caches for sure. Or at least more than you would get in the Icatursa. Because of your use of the smart bomb, right, in the Icatursa. 24 mil. It's not too great. But again, you're gonna have some good runs and you're gonna have some bad runs in T6, right? Like with any tier, I guess. We'll just average it out over a good number of runs, and you'll be able to calculate your XP per hour. So there's only 3 drag effects on this room. If there are more drag effects, it will take a little bit of time. But for this one, it's only 3. So, and they're close by, so I can web them. So I can max apply with range. It's really good. And cycle time wise, I'm doing pretty good as well. So should be able to take this down with the remaining faction, and then switch over to rage for the drag effects, not losing the reload time for anything else. Again, it's only what is it, 10 seconds or something, right? Yeah, but any second you gain in at any of the rooms will help you down the end, right? That's what I had before as well. And initially, when I started doing the D6s, independent of any of the types, right? The first room I usually always went for the cash. Okay, I'm gonna be on mute for a little bit, but I'll be back on mic in probably like a couple of minutes. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry for that. Real life fault, right? It always happens when you stream. Anyway, we completed the second run. Total is now 355, which is pretty good. Let's go into the next one. And because we popped the boosters late, right? So we still got time left on those, which is always nice. Additional benefit. Alrighty, we got one of the more difficult spawns, I would say. It's the starving Vetmax spawn. So on this one, obviously don't turn your booster on yet. You want to preserve, I guess, cap as much as you can. Obviously, because I waited, I'm full, right? So that always helps. You might not always have this be this lucky, right? If you jump into it in a different way. There is remote repping. So try to take down the starving demifix before anything else, if you can. I guess before the remote repping starts. And then you want to instantly switch to rage, basically. Nice, an empty note. Switch to rage and take down the Vetmax. So in this one, I never prioritize the tangling ones because obviously the starving Vetmax. First of all, they are the most tanky Vetmax that you can encounter, and they do nude quite a bit. So it's also the one where I don't continuously run it. I'll pulse the shield booster based on the needs, but even though I've got a very good cap battery, right, you're gonna struggle. And there's even a worse version of this one, right? There is a version where you get like 5 or 6 starving Vetmax. If you get that one, it's simply a matter of running away as long as you can and take the frigs down, the starving frigs, the starving demifix, I guess, and then the starving Vetmax. It's a more of a hands-on spawn for sure compared to anything else you will encounter except the angels. Can I use your fit and downgrade it and use it in T3 Dark? Yeah, for sure. You can get away with a lot cheaper web. The web, obviously I've got an Abyssal Webifier with a range, but feel free to use a Federation Navy web, for example. That will definitely help out as well and make it a lot cheaper. You can use normal damage BCUs, right? Ballistic control units. You can just use, I guess for tier 3 you can definitely get away with tier 2s, or if you have a little bit of more issues to spare, the defection ones, right? And I think the other things you can get cheaper, the AB can definitely be cheaper. I would go for an AB that still boosts but doesn't consume a lot of cap, right? So search for one that's a little bit more cap efficient, let's put it that way, if you can go faction. Otherwise, look through what either T2 or something better, I guess, if you can find it. The cap battery, you can probably get away with well, I guess you're gonna potentially run into the fitting requirements, right, from a CPU and power grid perspective, but I think at the end the cap battery is something that's very important to still spend a little bit of ISCON. But you probably, for tier 3, I would say you can get away with T2ing everything. Let's put it that way. You should be in a good shape. But I would advise a longer range of web, just to make sure you can web them at out to 14 kilometers with the Federation web. And obviously the cap battery, go for a Republic fleet cap battery, for example, right? Not a T2 one or a compact one. Try to spend a little bit of ISK there if you can. Because especially if you're in D3, you're still potentially looking to learn more of the spawns and how to attack each of the spawns, right? So you want to have as much cap as you can. But yeah, tier 3 is definitely should be an easy walk in the park kind of thing almost, right? For a T2 Cerberus, I think, with a slight bling, I guess. I guess the only other thing to keep in mind is I've got a full grade Hydra set, right, which is very expensive. Obviously for tier 3 that's overkill, but keep in mind you're gonna apply a lot less with without that set. So if you have ISK to spend, I get, for example, go for a mid grade. I don't know what they go for, right? And I don't know exactly the stats for the low grade and if it's worth ISK wise, right? ISK versus performance, what you get out of it. But I would definitely keep that in mind as well as you go through this. The Hydra set really helps with applying damage, especially to smaller dragons. Hey Daniel, thanks for following. Appreciate it. Welcome. Feel free to join the raffle. The raffle is up for a skin and 25 million, so feel free to participate. Sure, how many folks do we have at the moment? There's only 2. We only got Warkay and Ribbit at the moment in the giveaway, so you definitely have a high chance, I guess, if you participate to win something. Alrighty, we got another devoted. What's my targeting range is 40 something. So I'm just looking at the types, right? So I'm just take out a couple of lookouts just to make sure I keep my range. There's a speed cloud where I probably will end up with the look of things. I usually prioritize Fishers and Heralds. Fishers do webbing. And obviously you want to be able to keep your speed up to mitigate damage and all that good stuff, right? I flew through the rock and I'm stuck behind it. Interesting how that works, right, CCP? Back. I do this. This might have not been the smartest move I've made so far today. Why is it? Here. So I'm barely hitting, right? You can see because of the speed. So I'm just gonna get the loot the hell out of here. I'll just go for the cash. Oh, there's a lot of smiths here as well. So I'm gonna, as you can see, the nuding is quite severe. So I'm gonna ignore the fishers and I'm gonna focus on the smith while preserving cap as much as I can. I'm getting out of range. Yeah. I'm gonna go into the blue cloud. There's a blue cloud over there, so let's see if I can make that one. As you can see, the speed cloud didn't help anybody. Really. Anyway, let's get this done. So this would be one where with a lesser setup you might be in trouble, right? That was the wrong call to go into a speed cloud and get that node. It's plain and simple. As you can see, it's neutralizing quite a bit once they get back into your range, right? And I kind of missed, I didn't miss the smith, but I didn't prioritize the smith, right? So, and they nude quite a bit if they are close. So that's why I'm just running away at the moment. I should be in a good shape now. But yeah, that was, I wouldn't say a close call, right? But that was one where I was like, mistakes were made. Let's put it that way. I'm now in the blue cloud, right? At least they are still in the blue cloud because they're behind me, so I apply quite well. Yeah, let me know if you've got any questions, right? But yeah, for tier 3, Cerberus will definitely have a function, I guess, right? I'm not sure if there's better ships to run tier 3s in, right? I don't necessarily know, which are potentially cheaper as well, I guess. Well, I guess the what we talked about slightly earlier with the Munin, right? The Munin would be a good alternative, which you can run cheaper, I think. So it's worth checking out Munin fits, I guess, on the Abyss tracker as well. So I'm not sure if you ever went there, but this site, just opening it up while I'm shooting also. Trying not to lose too much time. So if you go to that site, the Abyss Tracker site, you can go to Fits and you can search specifically for tier 3 darks and see what, a lot of people are using, either through the fitting, I guess, what I just mentioned, or by looking at what completed the last runs, right, for tier 3. Of course, there might be a faster way, to run them. But probably there's a Munin fit there as well. And I know Kaldari Jones has been testing a lot with the Munin. If you join the Abyssal Lurker channel in-game, I think you'll find his website somewhere there, or through the Discord. Because I know he's got a website where he publishes a lot of the learnings he's made through running the Abyss sites, and especially lately the Munin, I think, because of the boost that it had a couple of months ago, switching to missile boat, and did that get it? I think it had an explosion bonus added and then missiles, right? Something like that. So I think it's a good setup for cheaper, or I guess lower tier Abyss. So yeah, anyway, long story short, have a look at the Munin as well for tier 3, tier 4, up to tier 5 dark side, I would say, and for a limited budget. So the devoted spawn is one of the longer spawns, especially if you make a little mistake like I just did from a timing perspective, right? But still, timing wise, you should be in a good shape. Oh, I actually was shooting rage, which didn't help as well with the timing, right? That's what you get when you go AFK for a minute. Or get bothered by real life while streaming. You make these stupid little mistakes which end up hurting. Anyway, we got Silas again and a speed clamp. Alright. Let's go for the nil charges and not risk anything. And then we'll go for the nodes. The node is... Where's the node? It is... below it, right? Yeah. Okay. So we'll take this down. We'll go for the entanglers. They're still pretty far out, so I'm gonna go for the entangler first. There's only 3 null charges left, so my cap should be sustaining that for quite a bit of time. There is the Cerberus joining us again, so I'm gonna keep my booster running in case I get a wrecking shot. Right? I don't want wrecking shots. Well, I'm gonna get it, but I want to be able to sustain, I guess, the damage that it does. Yeah. Doing good, doing good. Go closer. Entangler. 3 mil. Too bad. Not too great. And let's go for the sub node. Where it is. Where's my ship pointing? It is over there. And I think this is a -70, right? So everything comes very close to you because of that third optimal range. Because in Darks, that's what draws all the NPCs closer to you than what they will usually do at the other type of abyssal sites, right? Because they need to get close to be able to actually hit and shoot you, get into their optimal range. So that will help you quite a bit from a range perspective. And especially on the battleships, right? So either, I haven't actually gotten it today yet, but the Rogue Drone battleship, but also Cerberus, both come very close, right? Which is really beneficial. It's not too bad. This is going to be going to take a little bit longer because of the devoted spawn. I took a little bit longer on, right? But yeah, you can afford these type of I guess mistakes depending on your fit, right? But yeah, it shows how easy it is to make a little mistake, I guess, or do something different in the abyss, not looking at the environment, and then waste quite a bit of time. Alright, so now it's over to the battleship. I'll just get the drones out just to apply a little bit more. Yes, right. Let's show it. Probably just through the fitting window, right? So the drones do Drones do 50 DPS, right? So it doesn't sound like a lot, but it does help, right? So if you spend like 3 minutes on shooting a battleship, imagine how much added DPS the drones will bring you. So especially if you're running late, right, and getting close on the timer, use your drones. Already on rage, right? Yeah. So I don't think this was a good run, right? I haven't had the cash yet, but so far it's not been a very, very. All right, we just had the 5-minute marker. But as mentioned, we're gonna be good, right? 29 million. So it depends what the fourth run. I had to cough for a little bit. Sorry for that. Well, it depends what the fourth run is going to give us, right? How valuable, I guess, this one is. Anyway, feel free to join the raffle! Raffle. We'll do it probably after the next run. At the moment, I think there's only 2 participants, as I just mentioned. So either Marque or Ribbits will win it, unless you join in as well. So feel free to join the raffle. Alrighty, so we're doing pretty good on the boosters as well. Alrighty. Faction ammo loaded. Move a little bit. Wait for the trace to go down and we can jump into the last one. See how long I've been streaming. 2 hours. So most likely this is going to be my last run. We'll finish up the raffle and then I will need to do some other stuff. Rig spawn with the Fearless Swarmer drones, so no remote repping. So we can shoot the frigs first, or prioritize frigs, and then go for the Vetmax. Of course, the Vetmax actually don't do too much damage in this. If you get the spawn without the drones, then you want to prioritize starving if you can, and then straight to Vetmax because of the ramp up damage and the remote rip. Nice cloud again. We're gonna try to get out of this location purely because the applied damage is a lot less, right? Oh, there's actually one on the other side as well, so I'll take that one. And then get out of it. I would not advise this to any beginner. Because you're gonna lose that time, right? And we're gonna figure out now where the other is. It's all the way up here. Should be in a red cloud by the looks of things. So hopefully the speed cloud goes away. Yeah, there we go. Far out of range. Get closer. Get through the cloud. There we go. And I keep getting my cough back. I can't seem to shake my cough. So the range on the heavy assaults is 54 kilometers with faction ammo and 45 kilometers with rage. So I'm switching now to rage. You can see 54. Pre-patch, right? A couple months ago, this was close to 60, I think, on rage, and like 70 on faction or something crazy like that one. So you could just sit anywhere in the room and apply DPS to whatever target. Obviously, you didn't have the shield boost bonus, right? So that made it a little bit more difficult, but applying damage was a lot easier at rage. Where now you do need to keep an eye on it. So I never needed to keep an eye on where I was in the room, basically, to apply damage, essentially, before. And that's why the mutant is a lot more navigational, I guess. Because of the range, you're gonna needing to get closer. Which isn't too bad of a thing, I think, in the lower tiers. But yeah, you don't want to do that in tier 6. And I would say this setup, it can do the electrical sides as well, and the exotic sides, especially with the Hydra. However, I would advise to switch the web out then for another multi-spec. Because obviously in the other abyssal types, because of the speed and everything, they will hit you a lot better. They will track you a lot better. I have, for example, by mistake used an electrical filament with this Cerberus, and I was able to get out in I think it was 18 minutes, something like that. So, you know, too close to comfort for my part, but because, especially as I didn't know what to expect in those rooms from a damage and that kind of stuff. Sorry for that. But yeah, I was able to run it, but the DPS was way higher, right? So that's why another multi-spec would, I think, be very beneficial if you want to take this out into exotics and electricals. I will be doing some testing, by the way, because I noticed on the test server the characters have finally been synced again. So now I have all my abyssal stuff basically on the test server now, on Singularity. I'm not sure why I took out the drone. Old Gila habit, I guess. So I will be doing some testing with the I guess this type of bit Cerberus on the test server in exotics and electricals. Of course, it would be a good alternative to whatever everybody else is using at the moment. For example, Stormbringer or the Gilas, right? But I think, the Abyss, it should be a little bit of a challenge, but it should be reasonably relaxed to run as well, in my view, right? It's a PvE activity. So for me, it needs to be a little bit of fun, I guess, right? And make money, right? To fund my PvP habits. I've got my other character in Faction Warfare, so that's why I do low sec PvP basically, Faction Warfare PvP for the most part. And although that isn't very expensive, because you can't really fly expensive stuff there, right, for the most part, it does obviously cost money. So this spawn isn't particularly heavy, right? You take out the wardens, you take out any entanglement cruisers. And if there are a lot of neuters, you take those out, right? But other than that, it's just running through the list. Just take them down as you travel your way to all of the nodes to maximize your income. My throat keeps acting up, so I think it's good that we're finishing up after this one. Need to give my voice a little bit of rest. So yeah, the giveaway will be in, well, I guess approximately like, what is it? Within the next 10 minutes. So if you want to participate, exclamation mark gravel. Yep, already looking at the other stuff. Okay. We'll be good in time. Hopefully for the boosters as well. Again, it depends on the last spawn we're gonna get, right? 73 mil, which is pretty decent. So we should be, I guess, ending around the same amount of ISK, right? In what we had in the last 4 runs. Deactivate the AB. No longer needed. We're gonna reload, take down the rest, and get into the final room. You ever had any capital meter drops? Yes, I did. I had a couple of unstables, which obviously are worth quite a bit. And then I had the last one I had was the Graphite Siege multi-plasmid, which goes for about, I don't know what it was, 1 point something bill, right? I think the buy orders around 800 mil, I think, last time. But they do drop very rarely, right? I don't know, obviously, the exact drop rate and percentage, but you don't see them often, let's put it that way. And I see the same thing with the large gunnery skill, right? Big gun skill. Not sure what it's called. Disintegrator skill, I guess, for large guns. In the past, those dropped quite a bit, but I rarely see them as well. It's almost similar to the capital drop, right? You don't see them. Yeah, they only drop in T6. So if you want to get a capital muta plasmid for any type, you gotta do the T6s. You won't see those in T. Okay, so this is bad as in my boosters are gonna run out. There's quite a bit of cinnables, as you can see. So I will take the hard shell. I will try to get my way into this blue cloud. And I will start repping when I need to. Oh, I should actually not do that. So for this room, it would have been better if I didn't have this one running, right? But you can see the damage the angel spawn does, right? So you go for the normal ones first. You keep an eye on your cap and the damage you get in. If you take too much damage, you press the ADC, but you leave that as a last resort kind of thing, right? As long as you can tank it, you're going to be good. So I've got 2 minutes left on the other booster, so it should still be good. Oh, it should still be good. And this is obviously where you want to have a good cap battery, right? Because this is going to be constrained heavily on your cap. So what I'll be doing, I'm going to push it now. Just so I can elevate some damage. And the cap mostly, right? Now I need to run it again. Oh, should not be doing this, I should be doing this. There we go, easy to make mistakes again. So what you can do as well, if you want to, is get the drones out, right? This is the moment where you take the drones out, basically. Just to mitigate some damage as well. But this is one of the toughest spawns, right? That you can get in the darks, where you get like 6-7 cruisers. And you got to use all of the stuff available to you. So it's actually a good finishing spawn, I guess, right? Because it shows you why you've got the ADC and why you pimped your ship out. Because with a lesser cap battery, I'd be dry now. There's a high chance I would have died. As you can see, the drones are taking damage, but that's fine, right? And if the drones take damage, it means I don't take damage. And I don't mind losing a 500k drone or whatever they call or priced in at the moment. So I might actually clip this, I guess, for my channel, because this was a good spawn to show you why you pimp out your ship. Because you might have been watching the stream now for 2 hours and like, oh well, you know, it looks pretty easy, right? I can do this with probably a cheaper fit or whatever, right? Looks easy to do, but then you get a spawn like this and you get, you know, rudely waken up, I guess. Yeah, all damage is mitigated now, right? So now it's back to normal as in just the usual stuff. But you could see, you know, even though the ship is very pimped out, it struggled. You can imagine how this spawn was before, right? So when we didn't have the shield boost bonus. Back then I was running the standard booster plus the hard shell. Just to be able to run this room, really, right? And obviously with the standard boosters you get the penalties as well, so it was a little bit, you know, more work to, you know, not get a bad impact by the booster, because otherwise you had to switch clone back and forward to get, you know, the proper one and lose the whatever you spend on the booster, right? But yeah, obviously the new bonus to shield prep for Cerberus since a couple of months makes this a lot easier. But still, you know, you use lesser fit or Pith X booster, right? You still want to run the standard or even the improved blue pill, because that's gonna, this room is still gonna hurt quite a bit. Alrighty, so we are finished. We ended up with 686, so I think very similar to what we had in the previous 4 runs. But yeah, you definitely do the 400 mil an hour easy, right? Most likely you'll do slightly more, but again, it all depends on faith and the drops you're gonna get. Alrighty, so we're gonna do the giveaway now. If you want to join, participate, !raffle. Let me just pop it onto the screen. I think we've only got 2 participants at the moment, so if you join now, you'll still be able to have a good chance on the giveaway. There we go, that's the wheel, but now we first need to get this one. Alrighty, last chance to join the giveaway. Anyway, well, Ribbit and Workay, one of you will be the winner, right? Let's start it and let's see. Sorry, Houdini. Or her Dini. Yeah, you just missed the draw, right? But well, maybe next time, right? Alrighty, Workay, you got this one. Congratulations. Now let's have a look at which skill you're gonna get. Let's hide this one again, and let's let the wheel of faith, I guess, determine what you're gonna get. There's a ton of skills still in here, all kinds. A lot of glacials, right? But there's also some other cool stuff in there. So what are you gonna get? The Sunis's Ice Cloud Investigator skin. I have no idea what it's worth. I think this is the white one, right? Which I think I run at the moment as well on my other character. Just checking in the background. Which skin do I have here? Yeah, I actually have this one on my alts, Sunis's. Anyway, congratulations. Yeah, I don't have the in-game name thingy yet on my channel. I still need to figure out where I can get the in-game name. But Brookhouse. Well, I guess you're Dutch, right? Looking at the name, like me. Okay, let's send over the skin and ISK. there's only one Brookhouse. So I will first transfer the SXP to you. There you go. So that's on its way. And now let me just get the skin out of the can. And contract it over to you. So this is... So, there we go. Ice Cloud skin. Contracts. Create contract. And private. Nice. 1 week. You'll have a week to accept. Yep, same person. Alrighty. Contract is up as well. With that, guys, this concludes the stream for today. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'll save the VOD so you can, look at it back. Especially the angel spawn. We got the last one right. I think that was a very educational one. How to best approach that one and how tough that one is. But anyway, fly safe, stay safe, be kind, and thanks for watching. And I will be back later in the week. Anyway, bye-bye for now.
As well, mate. Welcome in. So we're actually going to get ourselves back to G to 4-4 because we done our little round in low sec at the moment. We're going to move over to doing